Hello, hello, hello. This is Tamika Peters, President and CEO of Grow Your Nonprofit, where we help startups, small and stagnant nonprofits grow through fundraising strategies, strategic planning, and so much more. Guys, today you're in for a treat. I have my special guest here, the President and CEO of Habitat for Humanity, Lee and Hendry counties, Becky Lucas. She will share with you how they're growing their nonprofit, how they're impacted in the community, and so much more. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsors of my podcast. Trinity Life Foundation Naples, helping at-risk youth through their enrichment programs. AVID, that stands for the Associations of Haitians Living Abroad. They just opened an amazing support center right here in the beautiful Fort Myers, where they will help you with immigration support, utility billing, and English as a second language. VaxTruth, they received a grant from the CDC to raise awareness of COVID-19 and vaccine resources in the Black and Brown communities. Last but not least, Best Insurance USA, a provider of Florida Blue. They will help you with health insurance, business insurance, and so much more. So, guys, like I said, my special guest here, Becky Lucas. How are you doing, Becky?
I am doing great. I love your podcast, and
thank you.
Thrilled to be here.
We are so awesome. We are so awesome. We are so amazing to have you here, and for you taking the time out of your busy schedule to share your knowledge and wisdom with nonprofits globally.
Thank you.
So let's start with sharing with our audience a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the position and how did you get into nonprofit?
Absolutely. So I actually started with Habitat for Humanity in 2020. No, that was 2000, year 2000.
Oh
my
wow,
goodness.
23 years.
Yes, it's 23 years.
Whoa. So when you started when you were a baby.
It feels like that. And so I actually went to school specifically to work with nonprofits.
Really? That's rare.
I know. I had this vision of being a social worker and working with at-risk youth. And honestly, like my career path took, as many people's do, took so many turns, and I decided that, you know, the one-on-one sort of therapy and working with folks wasn't my calling. My calling was to grow your nonprofit, to manage a nonprofit, and to act as a visionary for the nonprofits that I'm blessed to work with. So I've been very fortunate to be with Habitat for 23 years, but actually stepped away for a little bit of time and worked for the Nature Conservancy based out of Washington, D.C. And I did fundraising for them for a while and then came back to Habitat, which is my home.
Wow, very interesting. So walk me through, like, where did you start? Like, what was your first position and when you first got into the nonprofit sector?
Yeah, so right out of college, I worked with the Red Cross, and I was their community program coordinator.
Okay.
And mostly working with the senior population in the St. Petersburg area, St. Petersburg, Florida. And then from there, life took me to Columbus, Ohio. And in Columbus, I was a program manager for the Children's Hunger Alliance. And the Children's Hunger Alliance, what my role was, is to facilitate a USDA program in inner city after school care programs.
Wow.
So I was able to coordinate a program that fed thousands of children after school every day. And that was such an impactful, eye-opening experience for me to see. That was the first time I really saw the difference between, I would say, privilege and poverty. And it really impacted my life. And so I knew I was on the right path. And so when I moved down to Southwest Florida, there was this budding organization called Habitat for Humanity. And I think when I started, there were, maybe 6 staff members, 6 or 7 staff members.
Wow.
And so it's been really the journey of my life to be with the same organization and I don't know, walk lockstep with it as it's grown to over 100 staff now.
Wow.
So it's been really a blessing and an honor.
That is so awesome, because oftentimes I meet people who want to start nonprofits, and they're very passionate about it, but they don't understand that basically what you started was a business, and you need to run it like a business. And they see these large events that raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, and they want to be just like that. And I said, well, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So with that said, I understand before we started recording the podcast that Habitat for Humanity of Lee and Hendry counties is one of the top 3 habitats in the country. Please share with us about this conference where you come together, because even though it's a nonprofit conference, it sounds much like a business conference, and I just thought that was so amazing.
Yeah, so again, I will tell you that it is quite a journey. And yes, we are the 3rd largest Habitat affiliate in the country. Every Habitat office is a completely separate 501c3 entity.
Oh, okay.
But it is an amazing resource to have other affiliates around the country that you can lean on and that you can go to for best practices as well as support and networking. So we do gather once every few years just to be able to share our challenges, how we're resolving those challenges, and to really prop each other up. Nonprofits are messy and they're hard, and it is wonderful to be able to have that resource in order to work together. Because even though I'm experiencing something here in Southwest Florida, more than likely someone else is experiencing that in another part of the country, and they probably have some really great insight. So it's a wonderful opportunity to share, and I think that's what makes the Habitat for Humanity brand and network a really strong organization.
Right. So you mentioned that your particular Habitat for Humanity is an affiliate, and every nonprofit, each one has its own 501c3 status. So it's sort of like, I guess I want to say franchise, but not really.
No, that's a perfect word.
Yeah, okay. Because when I think of Habitat, I'm thinking, okay, these are all habitats. They're all doing really well, because I drive around, I see your stores everywhere, but it's independent. So that's good to know. So you run it independently like a business. Yeah. So what is the secret ingredient to have a successful nonprofit business?
I would say diversified revenue streams.
Oh, okay.
And I say that because depending on the economy, the market, what's going on, the policies, the systems that affect your business.
Yes.
Those revenue streams are going to ebb and flow over time. Oh, yeah. And so to put all your eggs in one basket, even if it's philanthropy, whatever the case may be, that's not going to stay steady year after year. Right. And so the more that you can identify opportunities to bring in different revenue and even novel, something maybe that's different, or even change up your events, let's say.
Interesting.
I think that is what allows you to become more nimble.
Right. So diversified revenue streams, what does that specifically mean?
I'll tell you what it means to Habitat is we have a retail arm.
Okay, retail, your social enterprise.
Absolutely.
Which is a mechanism I feel that all nonprofits should have. Even if it's not a retail store, it could be merchandise, it could be a product that you sell, or even a contract with a for-profit business, right?
Absolutely, or even a service. Maybe you specialize, you have a niche service that really only you can offer, even if that is becoming a consultant maybe to another nonprofit.
Right.
There are opportunities to bring in additional revenue into your organization based on the things that you're already doing.
Right.
And so one of those for us, we have our retail. We also have a HUD certified housing counseling program that we have had in the past. Other organizations want to fund our services for joint clients. We have our mortgages, so we sell our homes. We are a mortgage lender at 0% interest, so our families pay us back. We also have philanthropy, and we have government grants. grants. So our organization applies for government grants as well, which also ebb and flow. So as long as you're having these different pieces all coming together, you have this wonderful network of support if one of those starts to wane.
Right. That's very important. And in addition to that, tell me about the importance of board members, because I first met you, I believe it was last year, with one of your board members, Sandy Stillwell, who's so amazing. Hi, Sandy. She invited me to your event, and she's just amazing. She's a go-getter. She's self-made. She's an entrepreneur. And what I like most about her is that she's so down to earth. She's so down to earth, and she's genuine, and she wants to help. So let's touch on the impact of having board members who are ambassadors who also give and leverage your organization. Because the last thing we want are board members who just want to look good in the public's eye or, boost their resume. But actually having skin in the game is very important.
It is. And I am so fortunate to have this dynamic, amazing board of directors. The way that we choose our board of directors might be different from other nonprofits. It's always passion first.
Passion first.
So it's not based on perhaps their capacity to give.
Yes.
It is based on their connection, their authentic connection to our mission. Because once you have that authentic connection, then really the sky's the limit.
Right.
We have board members that represent not just housing or an aspect of a business, or it's really a very diversified group, because you never know what challenges are going to come your way in a nonprofit. And you want an array of talent and skills on your board. So when something comes up, you're like, oh, I know I have someone I can trust right here who loves our mission, and I can go to, and we can work together to problem solve.
Yes.
And I think in turn they are natural ambassadors, of course, and they will want to support, and then they'll want to bring in, not only their expertise but others' expertise. But again, it just all starts with that passion. That's exactly how we choose our members, and Sandy's definitely has it.
Yes, definitely. So the buzzword diversity. Diversity is much more than ethnicity and race, and you touched on that when you mentioned your board is diverse. She specifically said with skill sets, passions, connections, a variety of things. So is there a board matrix that you put together and you say we need to have these different skill sets, and you sort of map out and speak to maybe your current board members and ask for recommendations? What does that look like when you put together your board matrix?
So we do have a running board matrix. It's exactly what we have. And what we've done with this matrix is we identify all the different skills that could complement our mission.
Okay. Your mission. Okay.
Then we also look at the geographic focus of that particular member, so I can ensure that we are representative of the entire 2-county area that we represent and serve. Also, where they're employed or what their niche is. For instance, it's amazing to have someone that works within a government setting. It's amazing to have someone in like the restaurant business, like Sandy, people that live in Bonita, people that live in Hendry, North Fort Myers. You have to look at everything that you're possibly needing, and then you literally check the boxes, and then you'll be able to see, wow, I don't have anyone that's representative of this area or this industry, and who is passionate about us that fits that niche. And that's when you just start to have a conversation.
So you have your board matrix. You've selected an amazing board, but oftentimes I see nonprofits don't know how to properly utilize those board members. So what systems do you have in place to ensure that, okay, we have top tier board members here, we want to make sure they understand our mission? Is there an orientation process? Do you pair them up with another board member? How do you, I guess, you've already attracted, but how do you retain your top board members? Because oftentimes I see organizations, maybe they have a mayor on their board or a prominent person, but their talents are not really being utilized because the nonprofit doesn't know how to utilize them properly?
Well, two ways I can answer that. One, I find that many times board members don't know how to help because they're not in tune to all of the challenges as well as the nuances of running a program.
Okay.
And so what we have every month in our board meetings, we have a board education component.
Oh, I like that.
And what we do with that component is it's led by a member of our leadership team. It's not led by me, it's led by another staff person. That person can come to our board meeting and really share what it's like to do their job within our organization. That's typically matched with either handouts or a PowerPoint, and it allows our board members to really understand the challenges that are being faced on a daily basis.
Yes.
Even though our board members are fiscally responsible board,
Yes.
it takes that knowledge to be able to help. So we do that every month as a board cultivation so that they can connect
I
with
like
us.
that. Board cultivation. Yeah.
And then they can identify then how they can help. So it's not just up to me to say, can you help with this or can you help with this? No, they can self-identify in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, as you know, we dealt with the pandemic, and then we had Hurricane Ian and other hurricanes. I noticed that, especially during the pandemic, a lot of nonprofits had to lay off their staff because they were event-driven, and a lot of them didn't communicate with their donors. Some of the savvy nonprofits held virtual events, or they just asked and they kept in constant contact with their donors. Which strategies did you use to remain in contact with your donors during the pandemic and during Ian so that you can continue being supported? Because now you need the support even more. Because there are a lot of things that you're not able to do anymore.
Yes, oh my gosh, what a great question. You're right, though, with the pandemic followed by the hurricane, and we lost our office and we lost 90% of our assets in the storm.
Wow.
And so to be able to continue to connect with the amazing supporters of our organization has definitely been a challenge through all of that. I will say that we have an amazing communications team.
Okay.
And so when we need to get the word out about something, sometimes we don't have the bandwidth to do that on a one-on-one basis. And what we do then is rely on a broader audience or a broader communication strategy so we can try to reach everyone. I'll give you an example. Just last year, we did when we did an assessment of our communications, we found that we were picked up 6 times every week.
Really?
In some kind of written or press or something in our area.
Wow.
And it was because when we're so busy serving families, sometimes we just don't have the ability. And yet, when we met with, just last week, we met with a group of our volunteers and they said, thank you for keeping us up to date. We see you all the time and we hear these status reports, but it's through a broader audience and through a broader message. And sometimes we had to use that when we didn't have the ability to connect one-on-one.
So can you be specific, like the broader message? Was it a press release? Was it social media? Was it a newsletter?
It was mostly, I would say, social media as well as asking our wonderful media partners to come and see what we're doing. So we did a lot of live shots. Those 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning live shots, or just asking them to come and see what we're doing and what we're struggling with. And a lot of different stories were picked up, and I think a lot of wonderful human interest stories were shared, which is a good message to send.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how does a nonprofit build a relationship with the media? Because I could imagine that it took some time to build that relationship, because oftentimes I would say most organizations probably won't get a response.
I think it is wanting to help them so they can help us.
Okay.
And so if we can provide as much of the content or a setup as possible, we're happy to do that.
Yes.
So we want to be a partner. So we reach out with story ideas and sometimes content and writing, or even at one point we were even setting little videos that we had done just so that they could see what we're doing. So if they would like to take a step further and connect with us, they can. But we took the initiative on that.
I just identified another income stream for you. If you haven't done it already, consulting for nonprofits to teach them how to get in front of the media.
Oh, great idea.
Because it sounds like you guys are doing a really good job at it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to work with fantastic staff and really great colleagues who we look at, all of, your relationships don't have to be with donors or volunteers. They're with everyone in the community because it does take everyone.
Yes, it does. It does. Well, before we wrap up, can you please share with our audience how people can reach you, either if you want to leave your website, your email address, because there may be someone out there who want to donate $1 million.
Well, that would be amazing.
I knew you would like that, Becky.
That does make me smile. So we have a very easy website to remember, and it is Habitat4 humanity.org, and that is directly Lee and Hendry counties. So my information is up there, and anyone can contact me. I, of course, love to have a conversation about our mission.
Okay, so I have to ask, why the number 4?
Oh, instead of using the word 4,
Yeah.
it's the number that sets us apart from the other affiliates.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. And I know earlier in our conversation, you mentioned like having an offering that no one else offers. Just being unique, just like a business, right? Having your niche market, right?
Yeah.
And then really pulling from the business acumens and filtering that into your nonprofit, because guess what, guys? It is a business. Would you agree? It's definitely a business.
I completely agree. And there are so many amazing nonprofit leaders in Southwest Florida who have so much to offer.
Yes. Wow. Well, Becky, I told you the time would go by so fast.
It has.
Yes. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on the Grow Your Nonprofit podcast to share your knowledge with our audience. I know it's going to help so many people. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. So guys, I hope that you learned something today. Another nonprofit in the community, something a little different. It's an affiliate. I called it a franchise model. So as you see, they're all independent nonprofits. And looking at an organization like Habitat for Humanity, you would think they're all at the same level. But as you see, there are different tiers where some are serving more than other. However, they're all making a huge impact in the lives. So thinking about if you want to start a nonprofit, having a business model like a business, and then having a plan in place to grow over time. Becky mentioned they started off with 6 staff. Now they're up to 100 staff. And the importance of a board matrix and diversifying with the skill sets, your board members, and educating them so that they become great ambassadors for your organization. So this is Tamika. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay tuned for more Grow Your Nonprofit podcast episodes.